I don't think you guys are ready.
Well, do the thing. We're live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the FIFA World Cup Grand Final. Oh, wait, no, this is the Catch World Cup, not the football one. Yeah?
What?
Yeah, this is the other World Cup.
There's another World Cup
Is there?
that actually matters.
Nah, you're right. I'm just messing with you. It's the Catch 2018 World Cup Grand Finals pre-show. I am JB Hyperion, and I'm joined by Doland. We kind of switched our little names. I'm Doland for today. Doland
Yeah,
is
and
me.
I'm JB Hyperion, a member of the Quality Assurance Team.
Nice.
Unlike
Don't do
my
anything
tie,
I wouldn't do.
There we go. Okay, all is good now. Back in the right spots.
It's all good.
All well and good, but time to get serious, because this is a serious matter. Grand Finals, JBH, we're finally here.
It's been about 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks if you count the registration and the kind of who's going to enter, who's going to play, who's going to qualify, and who's going to win. And if you read the recap article that I put out last night, I asked that very same question right at the start: who's going to win the 2018 Catch World Cup? And I think the two teams that are remaining here, USA, China, definitely two teams that we would have strongly considered for being in that grand final at the beginning of the tournament. But it's been one hell of a roller coaster to get here, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think this is definitely two teams that we could have predicted to make it here, but the journey, the way that we got here was not expected. Really, we didn't think we'd see it played out quite like this, with the United States taking the win in the winners bracket and China having to forge their path through the losers bracket. Just not how we thought it would turn out in the quarterfinals when we saw these two teams paired up against each other. We didn't think the States would take the win, but they found a win and made it all the way to the grand finals through the winners bracket. So we have a kind of weird situation here, one that we really didn't quite expect.
Yeah, we have seen China in the losers bracket before, but pretty much every loss they've ever been handed in World Cup history has been at the hands of South Korea. But they finally got their revenge last week in the semi-finals, crushing the Koreans, making their way right all the way back through that losers bracket. But yeah, this time they were knocked out by the United States, a team who had until now never made it into finals, like the grand finals week sector before. So big pressure on them, their first appearance, but maybe experience going to play into things a little bit, do you think?
Maybe.
Their lack thereof?
Maybe it might play a factor here, but yes, you said all those things are definitely true. Experience could play a big part in this, but the USA, they're in a good position here. I think when we saw the bracket released for the round of 16, we kind of talked about that quarterfinals match. This is the ideal situation for the Americans to beat China in the quarterfinals and be a game up on them if they make it to the grand finals against China. So
yeah, that's absolutely crucial.
The Americans only have to win one best of 13. China have to do it twice. So we'll see what happens. But definitely China going to be favored on a map pool like this. That's just more difficult, more technical. They've been looking really good. But if there's one team that is going to definitely cause them to stumble, it will be the United States, as they've proven before.
Yeah, I mean, USA are obviously the only team to have previously beaten China in this tournament in their quarterfinal matchup, as we talked about a little bit earlier. Great teams, really impressive tournament teams that all throughout the past few years we've been considering this team could win, this team could make it to finals week, this team could be runners-up, like Indonesia, like Hong Kong, like Taiwan, and like obviously like South Korea, who have won it 3 times themselves. China have run through those guys. They've beaten the Netherlands, they beat Hong Kong, both of them 6-1, they beat Korea 7-3, and then they beat Indonesia 7-1 last week. Absolutely dominating some of the best teams in the world. The Americans have to be just a tiny bit scared about how much China have impressed and grown as the tournament's gone on.
Definitely. They've got loads of momentum, loads of confidence from all these wins that they have just racked up over the past several weeks. Beating Chile yesterday 7-2 to earn their spot here. Yeah, definitely China's looking really good. The Americans, I guess you could consider them the underdogs. They're going to be on the back foot a little bit here. But I don't think it's a doomsday scenario for the Americans. I think they have picks here in this map pool that they'll be very comfortable with. They have picks that they can win on, and they know that China have picks that they can win on as well. It should be really a good matchup all across the board in all areas of the mod bracket. No mod, hidden, hard rock, double time. It's going to be highly contested in all 4 areas.
Yeah, so here we see a little bit of the map pool. No mod has really been pretty much a toss-up between all of our best teams going in. And a lot of teams are pretty reluctant to pick it just because it could go either way. Even a map that you feel supremely confident on, it's so easy to just slightly lose a little bit of focus and have your opponent pull through. And at the same time, some of these maps also are really quite failable, which we have also seen. So an easy kind of comfortable win for your team can be completely undone right at the end. So teams have seemed to be fairly reluctant to pick the no mod offerings, sticking more towards the hidden hard rock and double time mod brackets.
Yeah, definitely. It's been kind of favored in like a go-to. The no mod is kind of scary, which this no mod pool does tend to favor a team like the United States that can put out a great no mod lineup. The problem is their opponents are China, a team that can also put out a great no mod lineup. I don't think we'll see these teams be scared of the no mod bracket as we've seen in past games. I think these teams are going to attack all areas of this pool with full force.
Yeah, we've seen in previous games that if you say you've got a favored mod bracket, so obviously Indonesia picked pretty much hidden all throughout the tournament. That was their kind of crutch almost. And when hidden didn't come off for them against China, they kind of really struggled. They were wondering, where do we go next? What do we pick instead? And it was only through double time, right towards the end of that match, that they really got back into the match. But in that game, there was a case where there were 4 consecutive games, all on a different mod, and I think China won all of them. So Indonesia were thinking, well, they've beaten us on every mod. How do we get another point on the board?
Yeah. How do we win if they're better than us in every aspect?
They have a really strong team now.
Yeah,
so it's going to be really important for both teams to try and get in early wins and especially try and dominate certain mod brackets to try and force their opponents onto something that they're maybe not quite so comfortable on.
Definitely, and both teams are going to come out swinging, because for the United States, if they can get on the right side, the winning side of things, take some few early points and start to put it away early, they may be able to win this World Cup quite fast. China obviously going to come out swinging because they have to take this to a second game. They cannot lose any of these if they want to become World Cup champions. That's what's at stake for both these teams. It's going to be a great grand final. But JBH, we've had a fantastic tournament this year.
Yeah, really have. I mean, it started out with our group stage, 48 matches, and I think 9 of those went to tiebreaker, which was way more than we've ever seen before. We saw 4 tiebreakers on stream in a row, right at the beginning of the tournament. That was insane. Sweden took every single game in their group to tiebreaker, and they had a game against Germany on where they tied that map 4 times in a row before they finally won.
Yeah, that was incredible. That was insane. We've never seen anything like that before in any World Cup, really tying on a map 4 times in a row. We also had some great moments from our debuting countries this year in the group stage, from Vietnam and Portugal. Gave us a lot to talk about. Vietnam had 2 streamed tiebreakers, and they stole a point from Hong Kong as well. A good job for them. Portugal taking a point from the USA in the group stage.
Yeah, imagine saying that. If the US win the tournament, you can say, hey, in our debut World Cup, we took a point off of the world champions. That's pretty cool.
How crazy. How crazy will that be? And then, as you can see, this bracket has been insanely entertaining. It kept us up talking about who's going to go where, what could happen here, you know. And then the USA, China, the run the Americans have been on is nothing short of historic, really. The upset win over China, and then another tiebreaker win over Indonesia, completing the victory of the winners bracket against Chile. They now really have a chance to do something special, JBH.
Yeah, it almost seems destined given the results that they've had. I mean, they had that really impressive performance against Sweden, who were obviously a really gutsy, well-performing team in their own right, but they just announced that they were not here to mess around. Then they beat China on tiebreak, they beat Indonesia on tiebreak, they beat Chile on Obviously, it didn't go to tiebreak, but that was a very close game that could definitely have swung either way. Chile got a late wind and were looking to surge back into that match last week. But unfortunately for them,
stop
Americans,
that fast.
They did just about hold that one off at the end. So they've already participated in 2 tiebreakers. They've beat a team that has won the World Cup before in 2016. Indonesia were runners-up in 2016. China have been runners-up in, I think, 2015 and 2017. So the pedigree of the teams they have overcome speaks for itself. Whether
Whether
the other teams have been weaker or not, they have announced that they deserve to be in their first ever grand final. And they now, as you said, have an excellent opportunity to stamp their names in history. And that's got to be really exciting for them.
They have scrapped their way to this grand final. Definitely going to be a lot of pressure, though, having to face China again. Might seem like a tough challenge, but the Americans, can they pull out one more miracle? That is the question.
Yeah, that is the question. Obviously, we've looked at China's route through the bracket previously, losing to the US in the quarterfinals, but then defeating Netherlands, Hong Kong, Korea, Indonesia, and then obviously Chile yesterday in varying degrees of kind of dominance, from utterly crushing their opponents to maybe giving them a little bit of a